Good evening and salutations, my BNB fans. So let's start off with Hope and Finn. And here's my thing. Part of me feels like Finn is doing a bit too much. Specifically with Hope and being very protective and being like Thomas is a bad person and you can do better, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, are you volunteering to be that better option? Oh wait, you're with Steffi. So why are you sitting there dogging your wife's brother that hard? Now he does sit there and tell her about Xander and the accusations as far as him, you know, allegedly killing Emma, which I saw the footage. I mean, I saw the video. It didn't look like that was the case. It looked like it was more reckless driving. And Hope is like, yeah, I know, and it was an accident and stuff like that. He's changed this, that, and the third. Yet he's not just saying, well, you got to be careful because he's dangerous and yada yada yada. And some people could probably sit there and wonder about that, but like Finn married into that family, knew Thomas's history, but loved Steffi anyway. That didn't mean that he had blindness when it came towards Thomas, nor the stuff that he did back then. And at some point, um, Thomas visits. Well, Thomas is actually overhearing this whole thing. Thomas is overhearing Finn trash him in front of Hope. So when Hope left, and after he got off the phone, he's like, he wants to sit there and confront him. And he does this whole let's be polite, but also, I want to sit there and say kind of creepy, but in a way where it's yo, listen, we need to sit there and get along, right? But he's not doing it in a friendly way. It's almost like he's doing it in a very killer kind of way, you know? Almost like kind of like American Psycho kind of vibe. And he's like, listen, we're brother-in-laws and yada yada yada. And Finn is not having Finn is not having any of that. This is after he's talked to Steffi about Xander and Finn and everything like that. And he pretty much just, I don't know, I think he might have said this to Steffi or he might have said this and said to himself, he's not letting anyone and anything get in the way of his relationship with Hope. And he practically sits there and tells her that. And Finn takes it upon himself. And this is where I'm just like, bro, you're doing a little bit too much. He's like, as long as I draw a breath, you're never going to be with Hope. And I'm like, really? Because, yeah, the cops said that it was an accident. They ruled it an accident. Hope has pretty much kind of forgiven him. And even with that accusation, she's like, yeah, I was there for it. And it's painful as the stuff that he did, but the cops ruled it as an accident, and I've seen him grow and change. So for him to sit there and be like, you are never going to sit there and see Hope again or whatever, it's just like, where is this coming from? I, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, if I didn't know any better, I would sit there and say, maybe you got a thing for her. And at some point, Stephanie's not there talking to Hope. When Hope comes back from Finn, and Hope is like, yeah, Finn wants to sit there and talk to me about, Xander's accusations and Thomas and staying away from Thomas and stuff like that. And Steffi's like, because Steffi practically told him to sit there and drop it, you know? Again, I sit there and go from the court to DC Soap Sanctuary, by the way, that your family is always going to be your family. Your brother is always going to be your brother. But Finn may not always be her husband. And so when she was, when she heard that, she was kind of just like, really? Because at some point she knows she's going to have to sit there and defend Finn, she's got to defend Thomas to a point where it's like, don't make me choose. You know, she already talked this Finn. I mean, she already talked to Thomas about, listen, I see you change and yada yada yada. So she is going to sit there and stand by him, and she does sit there and tell Hope that, yo, listen, with him coming back in town and everything like that, I need you to sit there and be all in when it comes towards Thomas. And my whole thing, Hope just has this anxiety, worry, like, oh, somebody else is there pressuring me to fully commit to Thomas. But I'm like, you knew what you were dealing with. You knew what you were dealing with. Steffi already had a problem with the fact that you didn't feel like you were fully committed, and Thomas was, and you're just using him as a damn sex toy. And he wants something more, and his struggles with mental health. And at this point, he's kind of like a ticking time bomb, and she's so wrapped up in herself that she's not even sitting there considering that. And so when she says that, she's like, I'm like, bro, you got a ring around you have a ring as a necklace from this man who proposed to you. At some point, I feel like it's going to start to sink in when Thomas starts to go dark, and she's just like, oh well, then she'll sit there and realize what she did, and it's gonna piss me off if she starts to trying to play the victim, because she thought about herself nonstop after Liam left, and she wants to sit there and hook up with him. Now Ridge is talking to Brooke and Carter after they talked about Eric, because Bridge is still sitting there having the same recycled conversation of, did I do the right thing? Is he going to be okay when he wakes up? And it's just like, bro, we don't want this. Like, we need less talk about Eric, and then they talk about Thomas. At that point, Carter's like, yeah, well, I got some papers to do. You don't really need to for this conversation. He walks out. And Ridge is not there telling Brooke to give him a chance. He did the work. He's trying to do better. And I need you to sit there and accept that. The problem with what he's saying at this point is this isn't the first time that Thomas went off the deep end or did something wrong. This wasn't like years ago when he lied about the whole Beth thing. This was more recent when he faked a call to get Ridge away from Brooke. So, I mean, you can kind of excuse Brooke for having some reservations, like, yeah, but his action kind of prove otherwise. Um, I can see that. I can see her concerns because it wasn't that long ago when Taylor was there before the actress got fired or quit or whatever the hell they're going to sit there and run with. That he was doing that to get his parents back together. So I don't know. I just don't know. Um. Anyway, it's gonna be pretty interesting. I'm not. I really did love the end. Um. Finn. Finn is just like, bro. I don't care. I see you for who you are, and I will call you out. I will put pressure on your neck. I will call you out every goddamn chance that I get. And you can just see this tension, and I'm loving it. Let me tell you what I love. From day one, when Finn got on the show, one, I felt like the actor couldn't act, and two, then when I got used to his acting style, I felt like the character was boring. I felt like the character really shows how good he is when he gives a backbone. Like when he was there going at Sheila and he was there telling Sheila off, um, when he was in his weakened state, when he was actually alive and stuff like that, I was loving that stuff. I was absolutely loving it. Whenever he gets a backbone, that's when his character shines. That's when it's just like, oh, she woke me up. This guy's actually kind of interesting now. It's kind of like Zende. When Zende gets a backbone, it's hell of interesting. I, I love this side of Finn. And so at this point, I'm kind of loving B&B right now. And I hope that they keep this direction going. Because if they do that, I'm good. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I'll sit there and say it was a decent episode. A decent episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Finn versus Thomas stuff. Definitely interested to see where it goes. I don't know what they're doing, this whole Bill and Poppy thing. Like they had that one night stand or whatever, unless she actually knows who the father is, and they're just the show is just faking us out with, oh, it could be Bill, Bill could be Luna's father, and it's like, no, there's a twist. Curious to sit there and see where it goes. It's always good to sit there and see my God Bill. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I will see you in the next video. And if I missed anything, which I'm pretty sure I did, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about 4 shows. Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless, Days of Our Lives, and General Hospital.